Welcome everyone to my review of IDW Sonic issue 46 and part 2 of Trial by Fire. As always, before getting started, I'll recap what's happened last time for your convenience, and there will be spoilers from this point forward. Amy, Tangle, Jewel, and Belle traveled to Forest Ridge Zone Park for a relaxing camping trip. The thing is, the metal virus prevented the local flora from absorbing water, meaning fire in a non-designated area could burn the whole place down. After some bonding over Amy's fortune-telling abilities, the girls went to bed, except for Belle. She went for an evening stroll and encountered a bush shaped like Sonic's head, along with the motobug that trimmed it. For some reason, when Mr. Tinker made Belle, he installed a lighter in the wooden robot. Even though the motobug knocked Belle offline, the lighter was still active. A forest fire broke out not long after. Amy and Jewel would help the park ranger get everyone to safety, while Tangle left to go search for the ranger's son. The ranger explains to Amy and Jewel the only road out of the park cannot accommodate the massive crowd. The moment he opens the gate to said road, the people will trample all over each other and risk serious injury. And the wind is blowing the fire towards them. Amy wonders if Jewel has any ideas. Jewel wants to coordinate, but the people are too angry to do so. For example, this guy here is confronting the ranger and demands that he open the gates to let the families out. Things heat up, figuratively of course, when the ranger brings up his missing son. The campers note the son, Ash, had a fiery wisp with him. Before the crowd riots, Amy gets everyone's attention by cracking a nearby boulder. She sympathizes with the campers, but also explains the road situation. She turns the planning over to Jewel, who's not ready for this. Thankfully, Amy buys some time by threatening the people with her hammer. Our hero, everyone. Okay, to be honest, I do kinda want to see Amy bash this guy in the head. Jewel admits she's only good with paperwork and rocks. When it comes to stuff like the metal virus, the Eggman attacks, and the Zeddy stuff, she stumbles. Amy says even through all that, Jewel did her best and made it out of each situation stronger, and believes she can get through this one too. She even gives her the Master Tarot card as a confidence booster. It works as Jewel explains what everyone needs to do. She wants any available high-capacity vehicle loaded with children and the elderly so they can be transported to safety. Then, to protect everyone and the forest, she has every able-bodied person use equipment provided by the ranger to create a perimeter. The idea is to keep the fire from spreading out further. Anyway, let's move closer to the fire's starting point. Belle reactivates not far from the fire, and a couple of silhouettes are standing next to it. The fire from Belle's finger lighter burns off her glove, revealing her metal endoskeletal hand. Before it burns the rest of her, the motobug reappears and puts out the fire with some dirt. It's also revealed that it dragged her far from the massive inferno. Tangle arrives and Belle stops her from smashing the motobug. The lemur wraps Belle's exposed hand with some of her own bandages before they head off to search for the ranger's son. The problem with traveling through a forest fire is, all that smoke can do a number on your lungs, as Tangle experiences firsthand. They spot Ash and his wisp on the other side of a ravine. The two slide down a steep hill, and the motobug decides to give them a lift. However, they're now moving too fast towards the cliff. Belle tells Tangle to pull her tail at the right moment, and when she does, Belle's kick action launches them into the air. Tangle then uses her tail to lasso them across the gap to Ash. Belle gets the scared kid to trust her by honking her clown nose. Since Ash now believes the two are here to help, he tells the girls about two individuals, a lady with big spikes and a boy his size, and how the former started the fire with lightning. Belle believes him because she recalls seeing those two earlier when she was reactivating. The group make their way back by following the river downstream, but that pesky forest fire won't let them be. Tangle rescues Belle and Ash from the burning tree, although they're now dangling off the cliff. The burning tree's weight causes the cliffside to collapse, taking Tangle, Belle, Ash, and the motobug with it. At least the wisp will be fine. Just as I thought, Ash's Burst Wisp, whom he named Red Hot, and Belle's Finger Lighter were red herrings. The real culprit behind the forest fire is Starline's creation, Surge the Teneric, thanks to her lightning powers. My guess is, she and Starline's other creation, Kit the Fennec, were out on a field test. I have a feeling we're going to see the forest fire from their point of view sometime in the future. The purpose of the Amy and Jewel portion of the story is to show the latter stepping up during a life and death situation, only after the former kind of forces her into the situation. In Amy's defense, she thinks Jewel's ready. Let's briefly recap Jewel's journey so far. When she first offered to take over administration duties at the Restoration, she wanted to organize things and help rebuild. She did not expect villains to attack and throw her off her game. To be fair, Amy was right. Jewel did get a little stronger with each incident. When Eggman attacked Spiral Hill Village with the Omega Mech, Jewel, who just got the leadership job, was too nervous to give orders. Vector had to step in. Compare that to the Zeddy attack. She was still nervous, but she was able to call in the right people to help save the day. To give Jewel some credit, she is capable of heading into danger to save others, like getting the Sonic Fan Club members away from the Zombots. And she did reorganize Restoration HQ and place it in a new location after the Zombots tore the old one to shreds. Now Jewel's applying all of her past experiences to help the campers, focusing on getting the most vulnerable to safety and buying time for everyone else. I commend her for this. Sometimes leaders can arise from a crisis. That said, Amy could use a little more tact when thrusting Jewel into the spotlight. Yeah, there was a timing issue considering forest fire and angry and scared campers, but still. Then again, there have been moments throughout the franchise where Amy displays a lack of tact, especially towards a certain character. As for why Amy didn't step up, she said herself. She's all about leading the charge, not figuring out the logistics. Kinda odd since you were the Restoration leader before Jewel, and before that the brains behind the Resistance. Admit it, even though Knuckles was the leader, Amy was the one truly calling the shots. Within those organizations, she did a lot of organizing and planning. Then again, all that paperwork was starting to get to her, and she wanted to quit. She kept pressing on because no one else could do the job, until Jewel showed up. It seems Amy works better as a field leader, giving orders in a combat situation to successfully take down enemies. At least that's what I get from the writing. And I also think the writers want Amy back out there adventuring, rather than being tied to one place. Let's move over to the Tangle and Belle portion of our story. I am now 99.9% certain that Motobug is the same one modified by Mr. Tinker prior to becoming Eggman again. Seeing as it helps Belle in various ways, I wonder if it's a last-minute gift from him. I think Mr. Tinker knew his mind would eventually fade away after going through Starline's machine, so he held on long enough to reprogram the Motobug just to keep Belle company. It was probably searching for her, and it just happened to find her in the forest prior to the fire. That's probably why he knocked her out, to keep Surge and Kit from finding her. I wonder if Belle mounting the Motobug is a nod to the classic era's Heavy Rider. I mean, it has to be, right? Belle also seems less clumsy and more confident since meeting the Motobug and getting her hand burned. She uses her pull tail and kick ability in a creative way and gets a child to trust her thanks to her clown nose, something Tangle herself didn't realize. When you think about it, it does make sense. Mr. Tinker wanted to entertain the children, and Belle, being his creation, would want to do the same. Going over to Tangle, she was willing to risk her life to find the kid. Brave, but foolish. And sometimes they can be one and the same. She did help her tail buddy at key moments, and she was kind enough to cover Belle's exposed hand with some of her bandages. I guess Evan didn't want to keep drawing the metal hand. In a nice touch, Belle's metal hand strongly resembles Metal Sonic's. I believe we all know why. Evan's not the only artist on this issue. Adam Bryce Thomas worked on the Amy and Jewel portion. Wait, that means... Let me look for her, and... There's Lanolin, Adam's favorite calling card. It's also nice, meta-wise, that he included the group of villagers from the 2019 annual's Pyramid story. I guess even they needed a break from the old Eggman base. We have one more issue of this story arc, and I wonder how the characters will get out of this cliffhanger and resolve the situation. We'll find out when issue 47 comes out in December. Yeah, that's when it's scheduled to come out at the time of recording. Thankfully, we won't be devoid of IDW Sonic content for November, as the first issue of Imposter Syndrome is scheduled to come out in the middle of the month. And like this story arc, the miniseries is part of the overall Road to Issue 50 saga. So I'll either see you there, or at the final issue of this arc. Bye now. Yeah, Tangle, if you value your bicycle, don't mess with the wooden maintenance robot's pink clown nose.